This is the Studio Shangri-La podcast. Back with quantum biology concepts, part 2. Many perspectives, worlds within worlds. Having reflected in the first part on the crystal web of Indra's net that complements the holographic and fractal universe conversations, let's explore through that gateway some of the fascinating concepts in quantum biology, in the quantum behaviors that affect and assist physiological processes, and in learning about another level of existence, we inevitably learn more about ourselves and our potential. We can appreciate the world around and within us that much more. The first major concept is entanglement. And the simplest definition of that is one thing affecting another thing, and thus coming into relationship. When it comes to human relationships, one person can be affected by another, even at a distance, by thinking about the person and associated events, or be influenced by that relationship. It seems to work the same way with particles. One can be affected by another and exchange information at a distance. And with the particles, that happens instantaneously. They can even overcome seemingly impossible barriers by quantum tunneling. Several recent proofs include one experiment from MIT involving light from ancient quasars, that two particles, no matter how distant from each other in space and time, can be inextricably linked. The concept of a large interconnected structure made of the same material holds here. Not only that, descriptions of particle spooky action are not unlike what happens with thought and the human brain. And Google quantum computing emulates this. Because when thought occurs, there may be cause and effect, but it's not a mechanical series. It's rather a cloud of entanglement that happens instantaneously. Technology using quantum processes is on the forefront of innovation right now. With communications and data transmission, as well as biotech and more. Quantum behavior is familiar to us in that the atomic and subatomic are part of us. And perhaps this universal landscape functions like a giant organism. Brilliant mind and father of wireless technology, Nikola Tesla made practical use of that belief in pervasive intelligence. Indeed, There's overwhelming, visible evidence that the universe has intelligent design and even consciousness. It's surprising, though, that up until this point, a lot of scientifics have been skeptical of that possibility. Perhaps it's controversial because both science and spirituality would be true. And by extension, ethics and conduct. All in all, the evidence is mounting that it really doesn't make much sense how we could originate from something unconscious. Further delving into entanglement is the observer effect, an offshoot of relativity. Simply, this refers to how a subject of observation is affected by being observed. The most basic example is observing something and then as a result changing it, like an item that needs repair. Examples in quantum physics experiments are, by contrast, somewhat bizarre. Having particles change behaviors depending on what researchers are measuring or even expect. The observer effect comes from the eye of the beholder, something we experience every day, actually. The perspective of the seer. If someone's watching us do something, or vice versa, for a specific purpose, that affects the experience and the outcome. This, again, lines up with the concept of Indra's net and intercausality. Within that structure, there's also a freedom of choice. Choice of what to focus on, and how to feel, and what to believe, based on sensory data. A reality of interconnectedness could be looked at as either elegantly simple or extravagantly complex, and everything in between. Within this model, each person possesses an eye of perspective for their personal experience or parallel pocket universe. Yet the greater universe is the aggregate of organisms within a larger whole, not unlike the human body. Entanglement, the observer effect, and relativistic time. All of these concepts have philosophical roots in Hinduism, a spiritual tradition that allows for a noble multiplicity of reality. In fact, pioneer quantum physicist Erwin Schrödinger was a devotee of the Upanishads, which he considered to be beautiful guiding texts. He and Einstein before him, in a way, rebranded and elaborated on the already existing philosophies. And there's a saying that if you look hard enough for something, you'll find it. That prolonged and consistent, focused attention is a powerful energy. They definitely had it, which leads to results. The tree of philosophy and human thought branches out into roads of discovery. The Hindu Upanishads, for example, have inspired many and continue to. That brings us to another concept of resonance. On our level of familiarity, the transmission of philosophy or ideas is a great example. If an idea resonates with us, we become interested, then perhaps actively engaged with it. It's a fascinating metaphysical process that, in part, happens on the quantum or atomic level. Quantum resonance involves energy transfer between atoms, molecules. Energy or information exchange happens on all levels of life. When it comes to human biology, quantum processes have been linked to enzyme catalysis, sense of smell, DNA structuring and restructuring, and thought, just to name a few. And with plants, most notably photosynthesis. And then with animals, navigation. On the frontier, from slowing down time at the DNA molecular level to treat Alzheimer's and autism, to teleportation. On the frontier, the potential is immense for new levels of understanding, for upscaling these quantum concepts, and thus creating revolutionary new treatments and technologies. More on this to come, to be sure. References for this article are contained within the original article post on www.studio-shangri-la.com. Thanks for listening to another topic on the podcast. Stay tuned for more fascinating areas of interest. If you'd like to get involved with the podcast, or have an idea, or even are interested in appearing live in studio, please reach out through the contact page on the website.